Are starting to drop. Good evening, I'm Kristen Kennedy. You probably noticed it when you walked outside today. Temperatures are much colder compared to what they were yesterday, and that is a sign of what's to come. We start tonight with WKYT's Mike Linden. He's tracking a big drop in temperatures.
That's right, Kristen. We have already experienced quite a drop. This morning, we saw some temperature readings in the low 60s, but most in the upper 50s. We are a lot cooler into this evening, and the drop is just going to continue as the region clears out of that warm, moist air that rode its way up from the Gulf of Mexico along that frontal boundary. But that cold front now in its wake, leaving behind cold air, enough so that we're seeing some snow in some parts of Indiana. But again, over the past several hours, clearing out, which is just going to open us up to that cold air overnight tonight. So right now in the upper 30s, some spots even still in the low 40s. But look at this drop as we head into tomorrow, falling all the way back into the lower 20s. And with the wind chill, it should feel even colder out there. It's not just Monday you need to look out for. It's the next few days. I'll show you exactly how cold we'll get coming up.
The story has grabbed national attention. A small plane crash in western Kentucky killed 4 members of one family. The lone survivor is a 7-year-old girl who walked to a nearby home for help. The plane went down Friday night in Lyon County near Paducah. Today, the National Transportation Safety Board released new details about the investigation into the crash and the little girl who survived. Sean Moody has our top story at 6.
Air safety investigators from the NTSB were supposed to get to the crash scene last night, but bad weather delayed them. They got there today, and now they'll begin the process of trying to figure out what led to the crash that killed a young girl's cousin, her sister, and both of her parents. Kentucky State Police say the Gutzler family had flown to Key West, Florida to spend time with family there. Tracking data from the website flightaware.com shows the plane's path from where it had stopped in Tallahassee to its intended destination of Mount Vernon, Illinois. Here, over western Kentucky, is where the pilot, Marty Gutzler, appeared to have run into trouble. State police say he headed toward the nearest airport, Kentucky Dam State Park. The airport does not have instrument landing capabilities. Weather reports from a nearby airport showed clouds were around 600 feet at the time, so a visual landing would have been difficult. The twin-engine Piper Seneca crashed less than 10 miles from the airport, and 7-year-old Sailor Gutzler was the only person on the plane to survive.
What she knew from that point was something to the effect that the plane was upside down. Her family on board was unresponsive. She believed that her family was deceased, but that she hoped that they were just sleeping.
Police say Sailor was still strapped into her seat with an injured wrist. They say she used her good arm to get loose, and once outside the plane, she just started walking.
At the scene, we were talking about that being some divine intervention there, because she absolutely went to the nearest house that she could have.
Today, the NTSB is documenting the scene and hauling the airplane out of the woods. They'll work to gather as much data about the flight as they can. As for 7-year-old Sailor, the air safety investigator was amazed.
She is one remarkable young lady.
Now, these are just the very early stages of the NTSB's investigation. They hope to have a preliminary report done in the next 10 days or so, but a final report on the crash will likely take a year or more. In the newsroom, Sean Moody, WKYT.
A spokesperson for the Gutzler family says 7-year-old Sailor will need emotional, physical, and educational support. We have a link to the only family-authorized fundraising site on WKYT.com. We continue to track the investigation into a crash that badly injured a woman. That wreck happened around 6 last night on Winchester Road at Strader Drive. Lexington police say the woman was trying to cross the road when an SUV hit her. Crews took her to UK hospital with a life-threatening head injury. Right now, police do not have an update on her condition. Tonight, Lexington police arrested a man they say fired shots at a home with a family inside. Police charged 21-year-old Antoine Woods with multiple counts of wanton endangerment. He's also charged with being a felon in possession of a handgun. Lexington police say last Tuesday night, Woods fired shots into a home on Honey J Court. 7 people, including some children, were inside the home at the time. No one was injured, but the bullets caused some damage to windows and walls. Tomorrow, thousands of students across Kentucky will head back to school this year, though. The end of the holiday break lines right up with a rise in flu cases. Some school districts had to cancel classes before the break because so many students were sick with the flu and various other illnesses. Today, WKYT's Hillary Thornton talked to a doctor about how you and your children can help stop the spread.
Many kids in the area are headed back to school on Monday in the middle of what has already been a very active flu season, and health officials are encouraging parents to be aware of symptoms and preventative measures. At least 5 different school systems closed early for the winter break due to illness. Now that break is over, and doctors say the flu is still going strong.
It's worse than usual for this time of year because flu typically peaks in late January and early February. It starts out oftentimes with cold type symptoms, sore throat, runny nose, stuffy nose, but fever and muscle aches are the hallmark of it, along with fatigue and headaches.
They say it is an illness that can easily spread once in places like schools.
People cough or sneeze, and the mist goes out in the air, and another person that comes in close contact. That's how it's usually spread, or through someone not washing their hands properly, and then they put their hands up to their mouth.
Which is why they are urging parents to be aware of the symptoms.
I hope that most parents will evaluate their children, and if they have any symptoms that are suggestive of the flu or other respiratory illnesses, that they'll keep them home.
Doctors say in addition to washing your hands, getting a flu shot is another key factor in preventing the illness, and they say it is not too late to do so. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Doctors say the flu shot takes about 2 weeks to start working. They recommend you see a doctor within 48 hours of showing flu symptoms. Today, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray officially began his second term in office. Mayor Gray, along with Vice Mayor Steve Kay and members of the Urban County Council, were sworn in this afternoon during a ceremony at the Lexington Center. Mayor Gray said during his first term, the city added jobs and the economy grew. This term, he wants to make Lexington the best city in America.
We know where we've been and where we're going and how we're going to get there. Yes, we all know that for Lexington, the best is yet to come.
Mayor Gray also wants to bring fiber optic internet access to Lexington, improve parks, and improve public schools. Tonight, police arrested a man they say left an injured cow on his property for days without helping it. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office charged 66-year-old Sherman Jones with animal cruelty. Deputies say the cow that Jones owned was injured and not able to walk or stand. Jones, they claim, left it in a ditch for 3 days in below freezing temperatures without getting the cow help or feeding it. Jones told deputies his tractor broke down, so he couldn't help it. They believe he had plenty of time to find another way to get the cow help. 3 people face charges after a traffic stop in Boyle County. Investigators say a Boyle County Sheriff's deputy pulled over an SUV yesterday for careless driving. After the stop, deputies say one of the passengers, Michael Royals, ran away. They arrested him a short time later. He had a warrant out of Boyle County for drug possession. Deputies also arrested the driver, Lauren Short, for DUI and drug trafficking. They charged another passenger, Lacey Owens, with public intoxication. Longtime ESPN sports anchor Stuart Scott has died after a 7-year battle with cancer. The network says Scott died this morning at the age of 49. He was an anchor on SportsCenter for many years and was well known for his enthusiasm and his catchphrases. Doctors first diagnosed Scott with cancer in 2007. He continued working even as he underwent chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. A Madison County business forced to close up shop after a fire last November reopened this weekend. The fire started inside Midway Old Kentucky Furniture's warehouse on Berea Road. The flames didn't destroy the furniture store, but they did damage part of a neighboring building, Janet's Auction House. Now, both Midway Old Kentucky Furniture and Janet's Auction House are open to customers. Gubernatorial candidate Jeff Young will need a new running mate. Earlier this week, his former running mate, Cherokee Schill, posted on social media that she was dropping her candidacy for lieutenant governor. Schill posted, quote, "I have chosen to stay true to myself and have removed myself from someone I believe to be a manipulator," end quote. Schill originally pledged to run with Young last month. Candidates have until January 27th to file to run for the 2015 governor's race. There are animals you're more likely to see in the desert than downtown Lexington, but this morning churchgoers worshiped right beside them. Camels and their wise men participated in Christ Church Cathedral's Epiphany Sunday celebration. The day many churches recognize commemorates the arrival of the 3 wise men who brought gifts to baby Jesus.
We don't usually have animals in the church, so to have camels and baby lambs. It's quite exciting.
As the Bible story goes, the wise men traveled many miles to worship Jesus. Those men and their camels came all the way from Indiana.